Damn hustling, 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 hustling,
It's your
hustling,
boy,
hustling,
Ski.
hustling, 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 hustling.
Oh, welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. Make sure you guys hit that bell icon and subscribe. We go live every single day with the news and analysis, and we got a good one for you today. Without any further ado, let's bring the action. And by the way, we don't just go live when it's 104 like it is right now. We were here at 74. We weren't here just at 109. We were here at 22. We weren't here just when we're at 118. We were here at 15.5. Okay, you hear me? Remember who was here for you at the bottom. So let's get into it. Top story, of course, the big news is Ripple. The SEC case is done officially. The SEC files settlement letter in the SEC versus Ripple case, and it is official as a whistle. It is over. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the charts, the TA, all that later, and then we're going to get into your guys' questions. But this is a massive step in the right direction. Missouri set to become the first U.S. state to exempt capital gains taxes on stock, crypto, and real estate. I don't know where my picture went, but it is gone. But that's okay. You know, Missouri. Misery. Arizona governor officially signs law to establish a Bitcoin reserve fund. Again, this is big. This is big, guys. This is dominoes falling in the right direction. And this is what we're seeing, right? 104 today. It's boring until it's not. It's slow, grueling, and then all at once. Okay, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm saying it 1,001 time. That's how the market moves. Okay, China announced massive rate cuts and $138 billion liquidity injected into the market. China is printing money. The UK is printing money. Canada is printing money. Everywhere is printing money. The United States is going to be next. Most likely going to be July, but we will see. Okay. Coinbase to acquire options platform Debrit for $2.9 billion, expanding its offerings in the crypto derivatives market. This is a big deal. The Bank of England cuts interest rates. Again, all the other countries are already printing money like crazy. So, Bank of England already cutting interest rates. This is a big deal as well. China begins trade negotiations with the United States. And again, we thought that China was going to be the last of the table. Everyone thought that the tariffs were going to be a terrible thing. It seems to be a net positive for perhaps the entire world. We'll see how that actually plays out. But I anticipate something to get done in the very, very near future with that. And then also the big announcement was the deal with the UK is already done as well. So that all the details came out on that. Again, everyone assumed it was going to be bad, but apparently not. This was a massive, okay? Cannot be overstated how big of a deal. The OCC clarifies that the regulatory banks that have clarity now have the ability to buy, sell, and store cryptocurrency. This is a big step in the right direction for not only crypto, but the institutions as well. Okay? And we've talked about this. Like, there's going to be a blended system of decentralized and centralized. I think it's very important for you to know how to operate crypto in the decentralized manner, in the DeFi way. But the more that the institutions get involved and bring the bridge together, the better that it's going to be for everybody. For everybody. Okay? Petra just went live on Ethereum mainnet, and we're seeing Ethereum just rip. It's clearly broken the downtrend and is clearly working on the sign of strength. We're going to talk about that later on in this video. We're going to look at the charts and the TA on everything. But that is a big deal. And speaking of charts and TA, let's bring the action. Okay, let's start off with Bitcoin. Currently sitting at 103,000 Okay, boring, boring, boring until it's not. How many videos have I talked about? It's grueling. It's grueling. And then all at once. Okay. So we still got some work to do. This is going to be a little bit of resistance. I would anticipate pullbacks. Certainly. Definitely. There was a lot of liquidity up here that got grabbed. We're a little overheated, but not crazy. But in my opinion, we talked about this. When you break a downtrend and you're in an uptrend, trend is your friend. We are clearly in an uptrend at this point. We've made multiple higher highs. We've made multiple higher lows. Any dips, let me say it again because I don't think you heard me. Any dips that we have from now until we break this trend are for buying, in my opinion. I'm only looking for long opportunities. I've been longing. I long ETH at 1788, and I'm still in that position right now. Okay, but I've talked about it. The next bigger target for Bitcoin is going to be 118,000. And don't look now. Don't look now. Not so fast, Mojo Jojo. Don't look now. But Bitcoin Dominance has made a lower low. Okay, we talked clearly. Video evidence documented April 7th, 2025. I said the bottom's in, boys, at 74.4. Go look at the video. I will repost it for funsies. Everyone's like, what have you done for me lately, Ski? You called 8 of 9 bottoms on the day, but what have you done for me lately? Ski's washed. He lost it. Okay, well, this is why. Accumulation, clear and concise accumulation. That is why I thought that the bottom was in, and we'll show it right here. That is what Bitcoin was doing. April 7th, 2025, video evidence documented. I said the bottom is in, boys. We're not going lower. The next move is, I said the sign of strength would take us to 95 to 100K. We would chop a little bit there before starting phase E. That is exactly what we did. Exactly. I could not have scripted it, marked it any better for you. Okay, we went exactly to 95 to 100K. We chopped there for a little bit, and now we are starting what appears to be Mark E. Now we got to get a little bit above this. We got to get above this, okay? But the next macro move is 118. We are certainly going to have dips. We're certainly going to have pullbacks along the way. Definitely, not probably, not plausibly, definitely. We will have pullbacks along the way. But these are opportunities between now and then, in my opinion. But the big thing, though, this is accumulation, the bottoming structure, right? Selling climax, secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. Spring textbook goes lower than the selling climax, than the secondary test in phase B. That is textbook bottoming structure, right? That is what we got. Textbook, selling climax, secondary test in phase B goes lower, spring goes lower, and then you get your sign of strength, which goes higher than all of this up here. That is exactly what we got verbatim, right? Okay. The opposite of accumulation is distribution, which is a topping structure. And we've been talking about it until I'm nauseum, blue in the face, orange in the face, that Bitcoin Dominance is working on the macro distribution. Buying climax, up thrust goes textbook higher than the buying climax. UTAD goes textbook higher than the up thrust. And what we need to see is a lower low. And then we're going to start to see lower highs and lower lows. That is what we have been waiting for. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me just show you textbook real quick one time for the one time. Buying climax, up thrust, textbook goes higher. UTAD textbook goes higher. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have gotten a lower low. So what I want to see for confirmation of this, because if you don't know, Bitcoin Dominance, that measures the percentage of the entire market that's invested into Bitcoin. In order to get a real deal alt season rally, we need this to go down. And in my opinion, the UTAD is the last phase of the up. The highest it goes, the worst of it. So what I anticipate is a back test, lower, high, and then make lower lows. It will be suddenly, gradually, and then all at once. Obviously, Ethereum, definitely marking this off, in my opinion. And I've been talking about this until I'm blue in the face. I said Ethereum is just a beat or two behind Bitcoin. Okay? On the top, we have Ethereum. This is your markdown downtrend, accumulation, selling climax in your spring, right? Everyone can see it. We'll show it a little bit clearer. And then on the bottom is Bitcoin. It's the same structure. I've been talking about this, that Ethereum is just a beat or two behind Bitcoin. And I said we were at this same downtrend. You break out of the downtrend, you chop right here in this same little zone. This is the same zone, and then boom, you break out of it. And I said Ethereum catching up to the structural move of where Bitcoin is at is 3,300. Right now, Ethereum is somewhere right in here, in my opinion. It's at the 382. We can see it clearly at the 382. It's just right here. To catch up, it's going to get to about 3,300. That will be the same structural move before it starts again the phase E, which would take you to about 7,000 if we're going to go parabolic. We'll see if that happens or not, but I'm very encouraged by Ethereum, and that seems to be confirmed my theory to be true, that it's just a beat or two behind Bitcoin. And if that is the case, it's going to give us a clear playbook as to what Ethereum is going to do from here. Also, very encouraged by Ethereum Dominance, which measures the percentage of the market that is invested into Ethereum. This was at a 5-year low, and we said that we said this at 1,700 when we went back there, that Ethereum has bottom, and here is why. And we look to have broken this downtrend finally, which is a very, very, very good thing. And then XRP just still waddling along. It's a little bit behind. We had the huge fundamental news. The chart has not reflected it just yet. My prediction, I have two confluences. To me right now, XRP is neither a buy nor a sell. It's just a hold because it's in a weird value zone that I don't think that there's a lot of value in it personally, because my average price is 20 or 30 cents. If we break this high, if we make a new high here, $2.36, this to me is confirmation that we have broken free from this, and then I will just be selling at $5, $8, and $12. If we do not, we're going to continue to follow this fractal. I'm interested in adding to my position on XRP at $1.33 and $1 if the opportunity presents itself. I don't think it will. I think we are breaking free of this, especially with Bitcoin starting what looks to be phase E. And with that, let's get into your guys' questions, comments, and concerns. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share so other people can spam the like button. All right. Let's pull up everything over here. Everything is everything. Y'all didn't believe me, man. Y'all didn't believe me, bro. They said skis washed. What have you done for me lately? Markets are looking good. What up, homie? Jam calling for the top next week. ETH 2,300, 2,500 and done. What did Jam do at 7,400 or 74,000? I don't know. Honest to God, I'm not being funny. I don't know. What was he saying at $74,400? You know what I'm saying? Measure a content creator by the worst moments, not the best moments. Measure me at the lows. Measure everyone by the same standard. The standard is the standard, okay? Pega, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeehaw! Thank you for the goats. Cali XT and the lightning. Irish Dano, thank you for the socks and sandals. Pega, thanks for the heart. And Pat's World, thank you for the roses, bro. You savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
He called it a bear market. Well, there you go. There you go. How Somic Ski, what's up? It's go time. What up, Ski? 10 out of 10 here. It's not sleep season, that's right. Danny EJ says, how's Sonic looking? Bet still on. The bet is still on. Just like I bet that Bitcoin would reach 118,000 before 70,000. Just like I bet at 49K. Here's all my bets in the past, okay? I don't remember when I bet that, the last one, but the most recent bet that I made was Bitcoin would reach $118,000 before it would reach $70,000. The bet before that, at $49,000, I said that the bottom is in or I would shave my beard, and I also said that we would reach 80K by Christmas. The real number is 100K or I would shave my beard. We obviously went to 109. The war in Israel, when Bitcoin pulls back to $25,000, I said the bottom is in. I will shave my beard if we go lower. We never went a second lower. Silicon Valley Bank going to zero when Bitcoin pulls back to 20K. Video evidence documented. I said I would shave my head if we went lower. We never went lower. FTX went to 11/9/2022. I said that the bottom was in. I would shave my head if we went lower, and my face. We never went a second lower. And then obviously the bet that he's talking about, Solnick will reach 7.5 cents by the end of the bull market, or I will shave my beard. That is still my bet. The bet is still on. The bet has not went anywhere. And I think that things are super, super conservative. KV, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeehaw! Thank you for the roses. Crypto farmer, thank you for the money gun. Yes, savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Big. Let them know. We here. Let's go. Where's the one-up guy? I don't know. I only see him on red days. ETH is ripping. How do we buy Solnick? Phil, you can buy Solnick on the easiest way is to buy Solana, whether it's PayPal, Coinbase, wherever you get your Solana. Send that to Phantom Wallet and then swap it natively on the app. That's the easiest way as of right now. Very, very soon, you're going to be able to buy it on Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that. So let's pull up Solnick, actually. Because we already had our higher low structure already. And I said that the bottom was in for that, too. Looking very, very good. Yes. We've already had a couple of higher lows and a higher high in the very micro. But that's what we had. We had a downtrend. We broke the downtrend. This is your accumulation, your selling climax, and your spring. You start to make higher lows. You make a higher low. You make a higher low. Very, very, very good looking structure. The bottom clearly looks to be in for Solnick as well. But yes, that is my bet. What's your opinion on Caspa? I think Caspa's bottom too. Pat's World, thanks for the hat and mustache. Yeehaw!
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
ETH is ripping. I know. I'm in an ETH long right now. 2,200. This is looking very good. I think we're going to go to 3,300. That's what I think. 3,000 to 3,300. That's my next target for Ethereum. I don't think it's going to get there tomorrow in a straight line, but over the next few weeks, that's what I think. What's your target for Bitcoin? The next macro target is 118, but we're in the middle of a breakout range, right? Any dips between now and then are for buying, in my opinion. I anticipate higher lows to keep coming in. You think ETH gets to 3,300? Yes. Yes. Listen, I'm going to show y'all. Just so y'all don't think I'm like just making up whatever. Just so y'all don't think I'm making up whatever. Listen, I put my money where my mouth is. I don't just talk. Okay? A lot of people will show their trades and it'll be like, 100x leverage. Bro, you can make plenty of money with low leverage. You don't need to have crazy amounts of leverage to have crazy amounts of gains, okay? You don't need crazy amounts of leverage to have crazy amounts of gains. You see it, it's 3x leverage. I got in this at 1788. Okay? Come on now. I put my money where my mouth is. Where do you think XRP will land? I have upside and downside targets for XRP that I'm not necessarily predicting. I am predicting the upside, but the downside are more opportunity zones, because I don't think that XRP is an opportunity zone right now because it's at the macro retracement. And to me, that's not a buy or a sell, personally. So upside is 5, where I'm going to be exiting. So I already sold 40% of my XRP at $3.33. My average price was 20 to 30 cents. Publicly, I said that. I stated that for years. Publicly documented video evidence. Where I'm going to be exiting the rest of my XRP is $5 $8, and $12. If the opportunity presents itself and XRP gets back to $1.33 and it continues to follow this fractal, I will add to my spot position on XRP. I didn't believe you on ETH. Respect. What's beautiful in my average on ETH? 1450. Nice. ADA TA. I like ADA a lot here. I think ADA is an extreme value blue chip coin. It's still in the same zone too. That in your higher low structure, in the super micro and then in the macro, that's what we have too. You have higher highs and higher lows. Same setup as Bitcoin pre-breakout that it had back in 20. So on the top is ADA from 2021 through present. On the bottom is Bitcoin, and that will be from 2013 through 2017. ADA to me has the same setup. Same setup as Bitcoin back there. A lot of altcoins have this setup, right? Why? Because Bitcoin dominance is working on distribution. It's everything everywhere all at once. It's boring, boring, boring until it's not. It's sudden. It's gradually then all at once. Okay. Mark down, mark down. You call that a bear market. Accumulation, accumulation. Sign of strength. I'll mark it out for you so you can see it. Back test of the prior range. Again, on the top is ADA 2021 through present. On the bottom is Bitcoin from 2013 through 2017. Back test of the prior range. Reaccumulate, reaccumulate. Move higher than the sign of strength. Move higher than the sign of strength. Back test again. Back test again. Reaccumulation. In my opinion, ADA is somewhere right in this neck of the woods where you're starting to get your higher highs and your higher lows. It's somewhere right in here, in my opinion. This is the same setup. And then this is the end of the story on how it looks. That's your mark up. That is your phase E. Okay, the story is not over. 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 Trying to get the cheapest rates. If XRP hits $5, $8, $12, what do you think the retrace in the bear market would be? $1? Yeah, John, I think that's reasonable. Ski, yesterday you talked about PayPal adding Solana, so you just send Solana to PayPal and convert it to PayPal USD. Then send to the bank. Yes, correct. Or you could just convert your Solana to PayPal USD and then send it to PayPal. Both of those would be working very well. Dynex chart, please. I think Dynex is working on the bottom structure. We'll take a look at that. Ski, you've been the most accurate. Work your calls. Thank you. I do my best. I get things wrong, but I show up every day. I try to be consistent. I try not to FOMO people. I try not to FUD people. I just try to be as reasonable, logical, data-driven as I possibly can, and I'll live and die by that. So that means you still have 70,000 XRP web. Curious, George. The volume on Bitcoin is crazy. Yeah, I think there was definitely some liquidity that was grabbed up there for sure. What's up, Ski? How's your day going? Fan freaking tastic. Thanks. ADA is 35% of my portfolio. Yeah, ADA is a solid one. And I feel comfortable with ADA not only right now, but 10 years as well. You think we're going higher than December 2024? Yes. Absolutely. What is going higher, though, is the question. Do I think what is going higher? Bitcoin? Selling points for Solana, 420, 510, 600. Low, medium, high. Rose. I like Rose here. How's Flux? I think Flux has hit the spring, right? I think Flux has quietly just put in the spring on accumulation and is starting to make higher lows and higher highs. So this is the setup, what we're talking about. You have your preliminary support, your selling climax, your automatic reaction, your secondary test. That is all phase A. right here is phase A. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the textbook. Class, turn your text to page 176. This is going on your final report card. Preliminary support, selling climax, automatic reaction, and then your secondary test. This is all phase A of Wyckoff, which is accumulation, which is a bottoming structure. Then phase B, you have the secondary test in phase B, which goes lower than the selling climax. Secondary test in phase B, which goes lower than the selling climax. And then you have in phase C, you have your creek down and your spring, which takes out the low of the secondary test in phase B, which also the secondary test in phase B goes lower than the selling climax. That is textbook. And in my opinion, we've pretty much already gotten the not only the spring, but perhaps the test as well. And then the next macro phase is going to be phase D, which is going to take you to the sign of strength, which would take you higher than the highs that were put in there. Okay. You would anticipate for flux, in all likelihood, that's going to be north of, that's going to be north of $2. Your sign of strength would take you north of $2. Okay. That would be your sign of strength, which would be the 0.5. $2 would be the 382. The 0.5 to the retrace is going to be 330. And then you would start your phase E, which again, still the same targets, about $13. ADA, please. I just went over ADA. What happens after the Wyckoff? There is no after the Wyckoff. It's a loop forever. I'll show you. Okay, so this is what happens over and over and over and over again. Okay. Accumulation, which is a bottom. Bottoms are scary. Bottoms are bloody. Bottoms are boring. Bottoms never feel good to buy. Never, not one time, ever. Let me say it again because I don't think you heard me. Never, not one time, ever is a bottom going to feel good to buy. Never. It never is going to be like, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm buying when everyone else is telling me that I'm an idiot. That's what it's always going to be like. Everyone else is saying it's going lower. That's what the bottom will always feel like. Okay. So you have accumulation. Then you have your markup, which is what we call a bull run. Then you have distribution, which is a top. And again, the opposite of accumulation, distribution. Never, not one time is it going to feel like the right thing to do is to be selling. When I sold my XRP at $3.33, guess what? Everyone said, Ski, move the goalpost. You're missing out on a lot of gains. You silly willy. That's what they told me. Distribution. And then you're marked down. And then after the markdown, you loop back into accumulation. And it just loops like that forever. And I'll show you an example with Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin's done this multiple times. Like this isn't something that I created. This was created 100 years ago. Right? So here you go. This is 2017. Mark up. And we could go back further. Like, I'll just show you how it continues to loop. Okay, so this is 2013. Mark up, distribution, mark down, accumulation, mark up, distribution, mark down, reaccumulation, sign of strength, backtest, reaccumulate, mark up, distribution, mark down, reaccumulation, mark up, distribution, reaccumulation. This is a reaccumulation technically. Same thing though. Mark up, distribution, mark down, reaccumulation. It loops forever. Because all it really is the psychology of investing, right? People have seen that chart before, I'm sure. Let's see if we can find it. Bro. Where are you? Right here. Bro, get out of here. People have seen this. This is just Wyckoff. You could call it different things, and it's good to navigate how each phase feels. But you have this is your mark up. This is distribution, the top. Your mark down, the bear market. Your accumulation, the bottom. It just loops forever. Ski, we're back. We're so back. I'm not convinced in dominance being done yet either. We haven't retraced. I'm not convinced, but we're definitely showing signs. I'm not saying dominance is done. I'm not sitting here predicting it's going to fall off a cliff by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am telling you, what I am saying for certain is we've made a lower low. And what I am saying for certain too, on the daily, we have a bearish divergence. So price is going higher as the RSI is going lower. So I'm not saying it's good night, Charlene. See you never. But we have certainly made a lower low. And what I anticipate is to backtest and make a lower high, roll over and make a lower low again. That would be confirmation. When do you think ETH will hit 33K? I don't know that ETH is ever going to hit 33K. My prediction is 3,300. Ski, my mom's boyfriend says this is the fluke and he's not convinced. You hate to see it. Not the mom's boyfriend. All-time high coming this month. I've been saying since 74K. 145, June, July, crash 230. Bro, I'm with you. My targets are a little bit different, but for me, it's 138K, 207K. Do you think Alt's total 3 will get higher than December? Yes. Yes. Are you asking me tomorrow? No. The answer is tomorrow is no. The answer is next week is no. The next phase, though, yes. This year, yes. What is the SOS on Ethereum? We're working on it right now. We're working on the sign of strength. This is the sign of strength. That's what that is. Yes, currently, actively. Now, this is a little bit hot on the 5 hour. So listen, hear me, hear me. Hear me, hear me. We might get a back test. That's opportunity. On the daily, let's see how hot, if we're hot or not. A little bit. Not really, though. We got some work to do. Solana target, 420, 510, 600, low, medium, high. Alt season market cap peak. Are we talking total 3, total 2, total market cap? Which one? What are we talking? What's the level for Bitcoin? My targets for Bitcoin, 118, 138, 207. That's the macro targets. Can UTA the coin drop? Backtest XRP $2. That's plausible. I want to see $1.80 hold for XRP. That's opportunity. You think Lincoln ADA will hit December highs? I think they go higher. My target for ADA 2468. My target for Link is $38, $78, 178. This is macro targets. This does not mean go borrow from your grandmother, go borrow from your father-in-law, go max out your credit cards, go 100x long. Hear me, hear me. My macro, I am a macro analyzer of the market. I am very patient. I can afford to be in the wrong flavor for months at a time, and that's okay with me psychologically. So what I'm not telling you is go max out your credit cards, go borrow from your father-in-law, go do all these I'm not telling you to do those things. All right? My macro analysis for ADA and Link are that. All right, let's look at the total 3. What is my prediction on the total 3? So the retracement for it to catch up to Bitcoin is going to be, well, Bitcoin's ahead now, but the move that Bitcoin did make up to 95K is going to be $985 billion market cap. Okay. And then, my medium targets are or macro targets are 2.46 trillion, as high as 3.3 trillion. You think Pepe can 2x? Yes, I do think that. What sort of leverage is safe? I do 3 to 5x, and generally I like to hang out at 3x. Look, you see me on ETH. This is my trade. Okay, you see the date, 5/8/2025. This is my trade. Your boy Ski, that's me. I went long. I put my money where my mouth is. $1,788. I'm currently long still right now on Ethereum. You see the leverage, 3x leverage. You don't need a crazy amount of leverage to get crazy amounts of gains. Do you understand that this is 8 years of stock market gains that I just did in a week? Okay? You don't need crazy leverage to get crazy gains. You got to be patient. What's your price target for Chainlink? We just went over that. Jasmine 10, 11, 12. Too late, Ski. Everything is maxed out mortgage. The Corolla has been... Not the Corolla, bro. Not the Corolla. Total market cap can reach 10 trillion. I'm not mad at that target, Emmanuel. My target is a little bit more conservative, but that's within spitting distance of my targets. My target is 6 trillion low case, 7 trillion medium case, 8.8 trillion is my bull case. So if you're going to tell me you're going to argue 10 trillion, sure. Like, yeah, that's within spitting distance. I'm not going to be waiting for 10 trillion though. Crow hitting 40 cents. I think that's plausible. When? What do you think about Injective? Solnic contract. That is the contract address for Solnic. Solnic is my number one 100x play. Do you think AI coins will still do good? Which ones? My favorite AI is Flux, and I think that the spring is in, and I think it's absolutely going to do good. Do you think ETH will get to 3.3K? Yes, I do. It could get there by the end of this month. Thoughts on Fat Cat? I like Alvarez. You bet on the jockey, not the horse. You think ICP will go to $30? Yes. Quant Macro, $700. What's your favorite AI coin? Flux, Dynex. Pretty much end of list. Well, XRP will retest $2. I think that's a decent value if it does. I think it's plausible. I've talked about this. I'm not interested in buying or selling XRP at this range, to be honest with you. I'm interested, starting aggressively at $1.80. That would still just be a macro higher low. $1.80, $1.33, $1 would be my conservative, medium, aggressive entry points on XRP. But you need to understand the context of where I'm at with XRP before you just copy and paste. My average price on XRP is 20 to 30 cents because I've been accumulating XRP for 5+ years. So I don't really have interest in accumulating it right here. And I've already de-risked. I've already sold 40% and bought my farm at $3.33. Okay. So if the opportunity presents itself and we go back to $1.80, $1.33, $1, I will add to my spot position again. If we do not, I'm fine doing nothing. Maybe you're not. I'm fine doing nothing and just continuing to exit at $5, $8, $12. You see what I'm saying? Where can I buy Solnic? The easiest way is with Phantom Wallet. Buy Solana and then swap it directly on the app. That is the easiest place to buy Solnic. And I have a bet with Solnic that it will reach 7.5 cents by the end of the bull market, or I will shave my beard. What do you think about Uni? Would you wait to long Uni? I think Uni is decent. I'm still in a long on Uni. It was supposed to get triggered and it didn't. Ooh, I'm up 25% on that one. I don't know. I don't like going long when it's red hot like this. You know what I mean? Wait for a back test if we get it. Crow hitting 40. I think that's plausible. Flux getting to 5 to 13. 20. No comment on Ardrum. Ardrum, I think it's bottomed, and I think it's card changing money. If you have the right expectations with Ardrum, it's fine. It's not life-changing money. It's not gonna, like, you know, you're not gonna invest $76 and retire or anything like that, but you might invest $7,000 and upgrade your Toyota Camry. If that's your expectation with Ardrum, I'm fine with Ardrum. I believe in Ardrum fundamentally. Is Ardrum going to 20x from here? No. You know what I'm saying? If your expectations are correct with Ardrum, then it's fine. I think it's a solid play, especially compared to the stock market. Solnic roadmap. The biggest couple of things for Solnic that are coming out is the on-chain. You're going to be able to buy Solnic with a credit card, debit card, anywhere. Apple Pay, Google Pay, anywhere that you buy anything, you're going to be able to buy Solnic like that. That's the biggest thing that's coming out for Solnic. And then we have staking is in beta testing right now. You're going to be able to lock up your Solnic and earn APY on your Solnic. So those are the big two things that are coming out. After that, we have the BYOB documentary, which stands for Be Your Own Bank. And we talk about the 2008 financial crisis, which is, you know, everyone knows about what the banking sector did and how they caused the great financial crisis. Less people know that that's why Bitcoin was created, but even less people know, like, the secondary, tertiary effects of the 2008 financial crisis and the big banking sector. This is where they left these small Midwestern hometowns, and that's what we explore in the documentary. Is my small Midwestern hometown that I grew up, and it shows, like, hey, this is where big banks left my family, my hometown, my economy in my hometown, right? This is where they left us, and this is why BYOB, Be Your Own Bank, is so important to me. And what it really is an ad for all the products that Solnic is coming out with, which are going to be staking, lending, borrowing, liquidity mining, all the things that the banks have access to, PayPal, Wells Fargo. But instead of needing tens of millions of dollars of capital and Big Brother saying, yes, you can do this, no, you cannot do this, the goal and the purpose is to bring power back to regular people. And it's going to give them the opportunity to put their money to work with, instead of tens of millions of dollars of capital, $10 of capital. So that's the roadmap for Solnic. Shorting Bitcoin right now. What about you? I have no interest in buying or shorting Bitcoin right now. Yeah, I don't short breakouts. That's a dangerous game. You might win. Why didn't Flux go up as much as compared to the others? Because it's a little bit behind in the accumulation structure, in my opinion. Total 3 sell targets. Shy of $1 trillion, 2.46 trillion, and then 3.33 trillion are my targets. Do you have an opinion about... I'm not interested in trading bots, personally. 0 of them. If they work for you, then they work for you. Polygon target, still the same. Do you agree with Alex that after June, it's over for 2025? No, because I think peak euphoria is going to be November. What was the link target again? 38, 78, 178, low, medium, high. I'm in 104, fine right now. We'll sell 102, quick 30%. Yeah, dude, stack in 20% gains plus. That's the way to go, in my opinion. I would just be conservative. You know, I'm not giving you advice. I personally, and if you find success in doing that, then do it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to discourage anyone from anything. I'm telling you my personal philosophy. I have no interest in, like, making moves that when we're in the midst of a breakout, which is clearly what's happening. What do you think Trump's announcement will be? All right, you ready? I'm going to do it for you. Here's the Trump announcement tomorrow. This is the greatest presidency the world has ever known. Maybe above Abraham Lincoln. I've done more for people of color than Abraham Lincoln. There you go. That's what I think is gonna happen. Leroy Jenkins, what's up, fam? Nobody's done more for the African American community, not even Abraham Lincoln. You know, Crooked Joe, he said, lock up the crypto. He sold it at a loss. You know he did. I swapped Flux out when it went below 23 bear market. Too much of a sign of weakness for me. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, bro. Ondo. Your boy for president? No, thank you. How confident are you your lowest estimates for ADA and Chainlink? Very, very confident. Trump announcement, no tax on crypto. We have breaking news. You're not going to have any taxes buying, selling crypto. You know, the Joe Biden administration, they wanted to tax it at 40%. I said, no, we can't do that. All right, let's look at Ondo. Enough of my silliness. Ondo, I think, is bottom. This is clear markdown accumulation. You have higher lows and higher highs. Again, I think you need to have the right. I put Ondo in the same category as Sui, Ardrum. It's those sort of new cryptocurrencies that are fundamental, but they do have some inflation, and you should be paying attention to market cap. And if you have the right expectations for Ondo, I think you're going to be just fine. If you have an expectation that you're going to invest $76 and be able to retire, you're going to be disappointed. Retracement is 45% from here. And then parabolic price is about $10 billion market cap, which is a 2.5x for Ondo. I don't know what the number on that is. Let me see. $3.33. So I would just call it $3 to $5 to make it easy. That fib is done. Again, which is great compared to the stock market, right? We just got to have the right expectations. Time to move to Missouri, right? I loaded up on Flux at 19. It's now 29. Let's go. The great state of Missouri. Misery just got... Yeah, we went over that at the beginning of the live stream. I missed some gifts. Wallet, thanks for the rose. User TikTok, thanks for the rose. KV, thanks for the hearts. Yes, Savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
I appreciate y'all. Ski for President 2038. Next time. Are we going to see Sol above 300 soon? I don't know what you categorize as soon, but I do think so. Says I'm screaming. What about FET? How about lo-fi on Sui? Now, okay, this is a good point from Brandon. I am interested in the ecosystem of these projects because I do think some real money is going to flow into Sui, Ondo, Ardrum. So if you could find projects that have low to no inflation in the ecosystem, not a bad play, in my opinion. I'm not sure about lo-fi. Let's see, though. I don't mind this at all. This looks like accumulation to me. Markdown. This is your distribution. Markdown, accumulation. I don't know what the inflation on this is. Let me see. Almost nothing. So 100% nothing, literally 100% is circulating. So to me, this is really good tokenomics. And that's where you should always start your investment thesis is, are they dumping supply on your head or not? If no, then you can proceed to step number 2. Retracement is 17 cents. Parabolic is 69 cents. Nice. 300% a month. Means Ondo won't do well. No new coins, no new coins, no new coins. Right? Ross! Thank you for the $1.99 donation, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Me, myself, and I, ACH targets for Ross, and then me, myself, and I says, can Theta get to $40? We'll look at both of those back to back. Me, myself, and I, thank you for the $4.99 donation, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
All right, let's take a look at ACH. If I remember right, ACH has a little bit inflation. I will verify. I'm not sure. Can we look at the Sonic chart? Yes, Sonic is my number one 100x play, period. So this is accumulation for sure. Okay, so we have... Yeah, this looks pretty good. Macro. I don't know what the inflation is. Let me see. %90 circulating, so that's pretty good. It looks like they were dumping throughout 2022. So it looks like I would put this in the category of H-bar. Past inflation, most of it is done, right? So good investment moving forward, but this definitely is a little bit higher. So I would only anticipate a retracement, which is about 15 cents. Can Sonic 100x? Sonic or Solnic? Those are different. Solnic, absolutely. You suggest selling in November? No. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for the market to come to me whenever I reach my goals and targets, or stuff gets overheated or overbought. That's when I'm going to be taking action, not based off of what month it is. Solnic, yes. All right. Let's look at Theta. I like Theta. Theta, I think, was a bystander of Ethereum. But now that Ethereum has bottomed, I think that this could be a good play. This is clearly an accumulation at this point. This is your markdown, accumulation, selling climax, secondary test, spring. The next phase is going to be your sign of strength, which is going to take you to about $1.29. Can it reach $40? So retracement is $10. And then that's also micro parabolic. So I would de-risk a lot at $10 in that range. Can it reach $40? Yes, that is plausible. $38 I think is very plausible. 2618 Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to de-risk a lot at $10. But there you go. That's my thoughts on Theta. All right. Can ETH get back to 4,000 soon? What is soon to you? FTM knew how great Solnic would be. That's why they chose it. Exactly. All right, let's look at the Solnic chart. One of my favorite setups. Here's the entire chart, by the way. The best part, in my opinion, is not only the upside performances, but literally every bottom has more than doubled from the last. Okay, every bottom has more than doubled from the last, 108%. 300%. Not only the upside performance, but the bottoms of just making higher lows the entire time. But this is your markup, distribution, markdown. This is your accumulation phase. In my opinion, when we zoom in a little bit, we're already pretty deep into it. You have your selling climax and your spring. You could even count this as your sign of strength here. And then your back test, making higher lows. The next phase is going to be the Mark E. And we know that Solana kind of runs with Bitcoin. It kind of does, it kind of trades the same as how Bitcoin does. So the next phase is going to be getting above 0064. And then that's going to start the next mark up, which in the micro minimum would take you north of $35 million market cap. My bet is 7.5 cents by the end of the bull market, meaning I think we're going to have a couple of runs between now and then. Or I will shave my beard. So for context too, between now and 7.5 cents is what percent? That's a 14x from here. That's just my bare bones low case. My medium case is $1 and my bull case is $5.89. VeChain better play than Sand. I think VeChain is a better play than Sandbox. Yes, I like VeChain a lot here. For blue chips, I believe in VeChain right now, short term, medium term, and long term. Can you explain, please? Explain what, please? Elaborate on your question, please. Will Bitcoin come down to a test? Yes, certainly. There's going to be red days. In my opinion, though, like we've talked about this a lot. Right? Bitcoin has a tendency of when it breaks a downtrend, it does it slowly and then all at once. Okay, and I'll show you an example. So here's the most recent. From March of 24 through October, Bitcoin was in a downtrend. You have lower highs and lower lows. And then when it breaks a downtrend, it starts to make higher lows. It's grueling and then it's violent. Okay, same thing back in 2021. Downtrend, you break the downtrend, grueling, and then it's violent. Okay? In my opinion, we are either in the violent stage or at the end of the grueling stages. Either way, any pullbacks in this point in time, in my opinion, are opportunities. It is buy the dip season until we break the downtrend. I think when FOMO kicks in, Solana can easily go to 75 million in one day. Yeah, no, literally. There's the power of FOMO is crazy. Nothing is going to create 10,000 new holders like all-time highs. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's just the harsh reality. VeChain target, 20 cents, 40 cents, 60 cents. Low, medium, high. 4 to 6. What do you mean 4 to 6? Where is Solana Quant nearest future? Rose or XYO? I think Rose has more upside potential. I think XYO has more guaranteed potential. If that makes sense. Retail will peak. Yeah, literally. XRP prediction 5, 8, and 12 is low, medium, high. Dent chart. We haven't looked at Dent in a little bit. Yeah, Dent to me looks really good, actually. Again, past inflation. 2021, all the inflation. This is deep in accumulation here. This is beautiful looking chart. And even in the micro, you have your downtrend, selling climax, secondary test, spring, and then you start your higher low structure. The next micro or the next bigger target is going to be 5 cents or half of a penny, excuse me. Retracement is 1 cent. I'm definitely going to be de-risking at both of these targets for sure on Dent. And then the maximum parabolic is 5 to 7 cents. Prepare for Sui versus Meta partnership. It makes way too much sense. I heard someone say Bitcoin will go up. What up, Ski? Bitcoin is up. When you think alt season, we're at the finality, Earl. You know, and I say that, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or FOMO. Bitcoin Dominance just printed a higher low, okay? Especially on the 5-hour, you can see it pretty clearly. This is, or excuse me, Bitcoin Dominance printed a lower low, and I know you've been following and you've been showing up every day. This is the UTAD. What I want to see is a lower high. Excuse me, I'm going to draw it out for you. I'm like not speaking well. A lower high, roll over and make a lower low. That would be confirmation. And it's going to be slowly, grueling, and then all at once. But that's the next move to confirm that, hey, this was the UTAD, which is the reverse of a spring, which is the absolute top. I guess it's a good time to go ahead and start the unstaking process for my DOT. Anything worthwhile on base, Brett, Fart, Pepe's. I'm not really in the base ecosystem like that. Solnick is in base if you want a base play. Quant, I think 700. Yo, Ski, win 120 to 110 to 120. We could definitely do it this month, right? It's boring, grueling, and then all at once. We got to get above all of this. This is still resistance. Are we going to get a back test? Are we going to get rejected? Most likely. But Bitcoin, it does it like this. It's boring, grueling until it's not. How much higher will Bitcoin go? And my next macro target is 118,000. What do you think is Sol? My targets for Sol is 420, 510, and 600. Low, medium, high. Sorry, Ski. I just had to report your fake account as it was asking me about my crypto trading. Thank you. Listen, I'm not going to message you. I love you all. I'm not going to message you. I'm not going to ask you for money. All right? I will not message you first. If you message me, I'll message you back, or I've tried to, but I'm not going to message you first and ask you for money or like I have trading. No, those are scammers. Those are people from Pakistan or Kakistan or Turkestan, but it's not Skiistan, okay? Will Bitcoin come back below 100K? Plausible. Plausible. Are we above the 702? We absolutely are above the 702. Right? Backtesting the 702 would be back to 99. So yes, we are above the 702. And most of the time when you get above the 702, you go into price discovery. That's my prediction. I'm not saying tomorrow or next week, but this is the next phase. And we've been talking about this a lot. See me gap at 92. They're from India. Yeah, exactly. Listen, I love you, but I'm not going to message you first. Ski, I'm predicting Bitcoin top 140 to 150. That's very probable because my medium case is 138. Skiistan is firing and bringing the heat. When alt season, when Bitcoin Dominance. Listen, this is the first chink in the armor here. UTAD, that is the opposite of accumulation. Okay, so let's okay. I'm going to try. Sometimes I start speaking Chinese and there's like 3 people that understand. They're like, yeah, Ski's the GOAT. And then everybody else is like, what the hell is he talking about? So I'm going to try to like do this in a way that everyone can understand. Okay, I'm going to do my best. So Bitcoin, I made a video April 7th, 2025. I will repost it after this live stream. I said that the bottom was in. Video evidence, documented. Bitcoin was at 74.4. That was just the most recent bottom that I've called. I've called 8 of the last 9 bottoms with video evidence documented. Okay? I have receipts. The reason that I was so confident that it was a bottom was because of Wyckoff accumulation. Shout out to the GOAT, Richard D. Wyckoff. Okay, 100 years ago, he made this method of analyzing the market, which fundamentally understood that the apex predators are running the show. If you don't live in La La Land, that is the truth. It's predator and prey. And if you think you're going to trade the news, you're going to lose, because they have the news way before you do. Okay, but this is Wyckoff accumulation. Markdown, selling climax, secondary test in phase B goes lower than the selling climax. Okay, secondary test in phase B goes lower than the selling climax. Your spring goes lower than the secondary test in phase B. That is the bottom. That was April 7th, 2025, when Bitcoin was at $74,400. And I put a long in at 78. I didn't quite get 74. I got it in at 78, and I wrote it all the way to 95 because I said the sign of strength would take us to 95 to 100K. We would chop for a little bit, and then we would go into the Mark E, which is what I believe Bitcoin is starting right now. Mark E is the bull run. The next macro target is 118,000. Now, just like I was sure and certain that that was the bottom because of accumulation, Wyckoff accumulation, to bring it all full circle, distribution, every yin, there is a yang. Distribution is the opposite. Let's show you, like, there's a yin and there's a yang. The market's all about balance. It's trying to find balance constantly. Accumulation, distribution. Accumulation, distribution. Accumulation is oversold. Distribution is overbought. The market is constantly trying to find balance. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay? And when you go, so this is accumulation schematic. And distribution is the opposite. You have the opposite of accumulation. And in distribution, you get buying climax, you get the up thrust, which goes higher than the buying climax, and you get the UTAD, which goes higher than the buying climax. So I asked the question, when alt season ski? This is when. Stipulations for alt season means Bitcoin must be making all-time highs. We have bottomed, and we are about to start or have started the mark up, which is the bull run, which will take us north of $118,000. Okay, so stipulation 1 is check. Stipulation 2, Bitcoin dominance must be falling. Okay, so is Bitcoin dominance falling? No, it is not. It's been on a straight line tear for the last 3 years. But what we have is the opposite of accumulation. Okay, we have phase A, phase B, and phase C. Buying climax. Up thrust, textbook goes higher than the buying climax. UTAD goes textbook higher than the up thrust. Okay, that is textbook. And then what you start to see is you start to see a lower low and higher lows. And in my opinion, guess what? Bitcoin dominance just quietly did. No one's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. It made a lower low. Okay, so confirmation would be we're going to roll up here and roll back over. That would be what I want to see. And then is it going to be tomorrow? No. But this is the finality and the confirmation that phase C, aka the worst of it right here, phase C is behind us. And then Bitcoin is going to continue to rise, and that's when we're going to get our alt season, when this continues to fall. And we have the stipulation, we have the setup. It's all there. Ski, didn't I say 100K was no longer a barrier? You did say that. You did say it indeed. Thank you, Mr. Wyckoff. Rest in peace. RIB, my boy. Do your derivatives ever admit defeat? Do your detractors ever admit defeat? No, they don't. I haven't seen one up. He was here consistently every day. My man was grinding. My man was showing up every day saying 30K, 30K, 30K. And now that we've broken out, I have heard nothing from him. I miss him. Somebody check on him. Is he okay? Bare Naked Crypto. Haven't heard nothing from him. I miss him. Is he okay? Somebody check on him. Oh, wow. We got a lot of gifts. Cali XC, thank you for the goat and the lightning. Mike, thank you for the heart. Scott, thank you for the heart. And the popular Irish Dano, thank you for the I'm so hungry. The tiny Diny, the shell, the corn. Danny boy, thank you for the lightning, you savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Will XRP hit $3 when Ripple say something about the meeting? Listen, if you've been following my channel long enough, you will know I do not care one bit about the lawsuit. Not even one bit. Nothing about, let me say it again, nothing about the lawsuit has anything to do with my investment thesis. It has everything to do with Wyckoff. It has everything to do with the 7-year cycle. My average price is 20 cents on XRP. I've been in XRP for 5+ years. I care nothing about the lawsuit, and 0 of my predictions have anything to do with the lawsuit. Okay, just like video evidence, back here, I said XRP is about to break out in October. We're making an all-time high. Documented. So no, that is not what I'm going to be doing my investment thesis off of. My prediction for XRP is $5, $8, $12. That is where I'll be de-risking if the opportunity presents itself and we get below $1.80, $1.33, and $1. I'll be re-adding to my position. I need a retest to 99K. Wasn't Alex saying 30K? Dump Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, he was saying that. But he wasn't taunting me about it, though. That was just his thesis. Make sure you guys drop a follow and subscribe. Listen, remember who is here at 74.4. Remember. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be lots of crypto content creators popping out of the woodworks. They're going to be like, is it time to make crypto content again? They're going to be like the clown meme coming out of the sewer. And I'm not saying to be mean to those people or to hate on them or anything like that. It's fine. But what I am saying is, remember who is making content every single day at $74,400. Remember who is making content every day at $49,900. Remember who was making content every day when the war in Israel came back at $25,000 and everyone said we're going to 12K. Remember when FTX went to 0 at $15,500, who was making content every single day. That doesn't make me the beholder of truth. But I'm here at the worst times. Gav's dad, thank you for the goat, you savage, bro. Irish Dano, thank you for the rose. Gav's dad, thanks for the roses, you savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Can DOT reach $60? Thoughts on Pinlink? I think Pinlink has bottom. I was here for all of it, Ski. Keep bringing the great. Out of the Night really was here for all of it. I'm pretty sure I had like 7 followers, and Out of the Night was one of the OGs. He was number 8. What would you do if you were 100% sidelined in USDT? Damn, hate to see it. Listen, dips are for buying right now. We're in an uptrend. This is what Bitcoin does, okay? So we're going to go over the last, 3 downtrends on the macro, on the daily chart. Downtrend, when you break an uptrend, when you break a downtrend, Bitcoin gruels, and then it's violent. So here is from March to October. Lower lows, lower highs. Lower highs and lower lows. When Bitcoin breaks a downtrend, it gruels up. And it makes higher lows, and it makes higher highs, and it's grueling, and then it's violent. Okay? So, that being said, we're in an uptrend, and we're still perhaps in the grueling phases, especially in the altcoins. The altcoins are a beat behind. Dips right now, in my opinion, are for buying. You don't need to FOMO in. Wait for pullbacks. What up, Ski? Uni is a great buy. I think so. Solnic is my top 100x play. Everyone that I followed for XRP disappeared. Do you follow me for XRP? Am I an XRP? I don't know. I do XRP videos every day, I guess. Am I an XRP channel? I don't know. Solnic is my number one 100x play. But I wouldn't FOMO in. I would DCA. DCA, especially at dips. That is the way. What was Trump's big announcement? Do we know yet? No. Where will Solnic be available next? Solnic will be available. Solnic will be available everywhere next, because the next big thing for Solnic is on-chain, which is going to allow you to purchase Solnic via, if you have a credit card, if you have a debit card, and a Google account. If you have a Gmail, a credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, your brother's bloodline, your next of kin, anything, it doesn't matter. The last couple are a joke. Everything else is serious. You're going to be able to buy Solnic with a Google account. If you have a Gmail and a credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, you will be able to buy Solnic anywhere, everywhere, everything all at once. Trump's big announcement was he made a deal with Uni on trade. Bro's capping. Jay, thank you for the $1.99 donation, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Can T consolidate back to current prices before November? VeChain. Okay. Can VeChain consolidate back to current prices before November? Where is my VeChain? Where are you? Okay, hold on. J.O., I want to clarify your question because I don't want to do a disservice. Are you asking me, what are you asking me? Are you asking me, is it going to take out the high, or are we going to come back to where we're at right now? I don't think so, right? When we see Bitcoin, so Bitcoin and Bitcoin and VeChain, listen, my brain is working faster than my mouth at this current moment in time, and I'm sorry for any innocent bystander. My brain is firing on all cylinders, my mouth not so much. Okay. Let's look at Bitcoin. So VeChain has the same setup. We've been talking about this a lot. This is the really good structure that I'm looking for, and these are really good plays in my opinion. Okay. So on the top is, will it come back to that point? No, it will not. He's asking, are we going to come back to current prices after VeChain goes into euphoria? No, we will not. So markdown. On the top is VeChain 2021 through present day. On the bottom is Bitcoin from 2013 through 2017. And this has the key, the answer to the test, okay? So what we have, you have your markdown, your accumulation for Bitcoin, your accumulation for VeChain. You have your sign of strength, which marks firmly that the bottom is in. You have your sign of strength for Bitcoin, marks firmly that the bottom is in. Back test of the prior range, reaccumulation, move higher than the sign of strength. That's what Bitcoin did. Move higher than the sign of strength. Back test again, cha-cha real smooth now, cha-cha again, cha-cha one time this time, one hop this time, okay, and then you start to gruel your way up with a higher low, higher high structure. It's boring, and then it's sudden, okay, and in my opinion, right here is where VeChain is, right here, okay, right here. That's where VeChain is. That's where a lot of the altcoins are at. And so the question is it going to come back to these current prices after it goes into euphoria? No, it will not. Even if it only goes to 20 cents, which is my low case, it's coming back to at best 7 cents. XRP has been boring, so now needs the sudden. I don't know that I agree with that. XRP has been the top performing top 100 asset. So I would agree if we were talking October, right? This is what I was screaming from the mountains. From the mountaintop, I was beating my chest. I was screaming, please, it's going to make an all-time high. Video evidence documented, right? 5 years, it was at this price. And then boom, big breakout. So it has been boring, I will give you, but I don't think it's going to be this dramatic of a move. This was crazy, right? You got it for context. November of 2024, XRP was 41 cents, or excuse me, 50 cents. And went on to do a 6x. Okay? XRP is not a low market cap. XRP has a larger market cap than BlackRock. So my prediction is $5, $8, and $12. I do think that XRP is working on a bottoming structure. This to me is your selling climax. This to me is your spring. And we're starting to make higher lows. Confirmation is going to be $2.36. But I'm saying like it already did that move that I'm talking about. The boring, and then it's not. Boring, and then it's sudden. I need some water. Make sure you guys drop a follow. The most consistent crypto creator in the game. I got a spare $600. What's the best buy right now, please? My favorite 100x is Solnic. Damn. Win Euphoria. Predictions for ETH and time of the top. My prediction for ETH is 3,300 is the next move. I think it's working on it right now. And then if it wants to go into price discovery, 7,200. What about Jasmine? 10, 11, 12 cents. Low, medium, high. Prediction for Ondo. $3, $5. Pin link getting no volume though. Do you think one day it's going to randomly just send? Pin link to me has bottomed. Listen, I got accused. People were not happy with me and pin link in November. Okay, I was bullish on some coins, I will admit, in November. Yes, absolutely I was. But there was a lot of coins in November when I promise you, I was like, for the love of God, if you were my brother, I would tell you to take profit. On everything I love, people were asking me about Pinlink, and I swear to you, I swear it. This is the chart that I saw. Back in November, back in December. And I promise on everything I love, I was like, if you were my brother, I would say to take profit. And people were like, Ski hates Pinlink. He's a Pinlink footer. And I kept saying, this is not sustainable. And so I want to make that point because everyone said that I hated Pinlink, and I do not. Because now I think this is distribution. This is your markdown. This is accumulation. This is your bottoming structure. This is a very good looking structure to me. Your sign of strength going to take you to $1.40. Back test back to $1.20. Retracement $2.84. Parabolic is $10. I like this structure a lot. I think this is a good value. I don't hate Pinlink. I hate chasing green candles and FOMOing in. That's what I hate. Damn. Thank you for the GGs. Big D, thank you for the rose. Mars, thank you for the heart, you savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Any thoughts on Quant and Ondo? I'm in a long on Quant right now. I think Quant gets north of $700. Ondo, a little bit too much inflation for me, but I do think it's bottomed. $3 to $5 is my target for that. Rose seems to be waking up a little bit. Caspa, I think, is bottomed. Let's look at Caspa. Or excuse me, Rose. ADA, one of my favorite blue chips. As far as value, as like an investment, right now, currently, I'm in an active long on ADA today, right now. Y'all don't believe me. I'm in an active long on ADA right now. So I like ADA's value today. I like ADA's value in the medium term. I like ADA's value in the long term. I feel comfortable holding ADA for 10 plus years. There you go. You see it. 67%. You don't need crazy amounts of leverage. You see the leverage. This is the biggest mistake. This is the biggest mistake that new people or even medium people in crypto make, is they think they have to make up 10 years of not being in the game in 1 month, and you will get wrecked. You don't need crazy amounts of leverage to make crazy amounts of gains. You need patience and structure and setup and consistency. Okay? My longer macro targets for ADA are 2, 4, 6, 8. There you go. Solnick has woken up a bit. Solnick is my favorite 100x play, period. Okay, so looking at Rose, I think Rose has been an innocent bystander of Ethereum's lackluster performance, but guess what? Guess what? Ethereum is waking up today. Ethereum is waking up today. Now, I'm going to be really conservative at retracement targets for Rose. I think it is a little bit less likely that we go parabolic, but we've been on a downtrend, and I think we have broken the downtrend. We've made a higher low over here. This is macro accumulation. Make no mistake about it. You could even call this, dare I say, selling climax. Uh-oh. Automatic reaction. Hi, sweetie. What you doing, baby? Yeah. Secondary test in phase B. Was this your spring? Retracement is 30 cents to 38 cents. I'm going to be really cautious here. I'm going to de-risk a lot of Rose here. If it wants to go parabolic, you know, you're talking $1 plus, but I'm going to be very cautious around the retracements. Do you think we set new all-time high in May on what? On what? Solnick is my second biggest bad, thinking of selling everything else and just buying Solnick. Solnick is my highest conviction play. Period. Should we get out of Caspa? I don't think so. I think Caspa's has bottomed. Caspa has the same setup as Bitcoin. Caspa to me is a good player. Not everything is good, right? I don't think everything is good. I'm going to show you, though, on the top is Bitcoin. On the bottom is Caspa, which I don't know where my Caspa is. Where are you? All right, let's try that again. On the top is Caspa. On the bottom is Bitcoin. Flux has gotten its selling climax or spring in my opinion. All right, so to me, these are the same setups here. This is the same stipulation, same exact setup. You have distribution over here, distribution. Then you start your markdown. You start your markdown. On the top is a Caspa. On the bottom is Bitcoin, present day. And then you get into accumulation, right? And in my opinion, Caspa is deep in accumulation and is somewhere in the waddling sign of strength phase. Let's make this a little bit clearer. So selling climax, secondary test in phase B goes lower than the selling climax, secondary test in phase B goes lower than the selling climax, and then your spring goes lower than the secondary test in phase B. You mark out, get your sign of strength. This is your sign of strength for Bitcoin. It's just a slight beat ahead in my opinion. And then it chopped. This is really textbook looking actually, where you have a lower low. Like, let me show you textbook accumulation here. It's even more textbook than what Bitcoin even got, to be honest with you. But it's just a slight, I think it's a slight beat ahead. But when we look at the sign of strength, that's what you see. You see an uptrend and a downtrend at the same time at the sign of strength. This is phase D. The next phase is phase E, which would take you to the retracement at least. That's what we see. You see a downtrend and uptrend at the same time for Caspa. Retracement's 15 cents. Parabolic is 45 to 60 cents. Did VRA rug? I wouldn't call this a rug. Not good, though. I just got super overheated. I mean, we're not even lower than the accumulate. I would call this your sign of strength. But VRA has too much inflation. I've been saying that for a while, that VRA is not a play to me. Solnic looking primed. Solnic is my favorite 100x play, period. Let's look at Solnic. Where is it? Yeah, beautiful looking chart. Beautiful. Markdown, you have a clear break of your downtrend here. And when you go on the 5 hour, you see that this is your accumulation. Your selling climax, your secondary test in phase B, or this is your spring actually. And then you start to make higher lows out of here. Very, very good looking setup. To me, it's primed to make the next mark up phase. Algo low, medium, high, 2, 4, and 8. What, High Ski, what is your price prediction with sauce? Thoughts on LCX? I like LCX here. Thoughts on sauce. What are my targets for sauce? Crazy run up here. Accumulation, mark up, distribution, mark down, accumulation, sign of strength, back test, reaccumulation, and it's been honoring this trend for the entire time too. It already hit the retracement. So your next logical would be 37, which is going to be price discovery, and parabolic is 81. Do you trade crypto? Yes, almost every day. I put my trades in the Telegram. 2 NFTs, 2 hedge funds NFTs get you lifetime access to the Telegram. I trade almost every day. Flux and ICP, $5 to $13 for ICP. Flux. ICP is $38, 100, 140, low, medium, high. LCX, $2.22 for parabolic. Here's some trades that I'm in right now. Today, I'm in the Ethereum trade. Again, you don't need crazy leverage to have crazy gains. I put my money where my mouth is. 1788 is when I went long. I said that the bottom is in for crypto. I'm also in 88. I'm in a lot of trades right now, but these are some of the ones that I'm in. I rode Bitcoin from 78,000 all the way up to 96 is where I think I got out. Ski, throwing it out there. Sell half my bag of XRP and purchase Sonic, or wait till XRP runs up and then sell half. You could do a quarter. I'm not going to tell you what to do, bro. I mean, I have more conviction and belief in Sonic. But, you know, XRP is also a large position that I have too. I've already taken profits heavily on XRP as well. So I don't know where you're at with that. You know, everyone's a little bit different. Algo predictions, $2 is retracement, $8 is parabolic. How high can MOG go? Are you a full-time trader? How many hours per day? I'm a full-time investor, and I do this. If you're asking me if I just like, you know, just do trading all day, that's not what I do. I'm an investor more than a, you know, a quote day trader who does, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 trades per day. That's not what I do. I'll look for value where stuff is oversold and overbought, and I will swing trade more than anything, and I'll be in trades for weeks at a time. Why is Sonic so good? Sonic's so good because it the chart, number one, speaks for itself. Most coins die after 3 months. Sonic has been making higher lows and higher highs for over a year now. That is number one. I'd put the community up against anyone. That's number two. Number three, we have staking that is coming out. You're going to be able to stake your Sonic and earn APY on that, which has everything to do with BYOB, which is the entire movement behind Sonic, which stands for Be Your Own Bank. And Sonic has a documentary that we are shooting, which goes over the 2008 financial crisis. And everyone knows about the 2008 financial crisis. Less people know, but some people know that that's why Bitcoin was created in the first place. But even less people know the secondary, tertiary effects of these small Midwestern towns, and what the big banks, how they left these towns. So that's what the document explores. And it's like, hey, this is where big banks, big pharma left my hometown. And this is why BYOB is so important to me, because this is where the big banks left us. That's the whole point of crypto, is to be your own bank and to take power back to regular people so that they can have the same tools that PayPal, Wells Fargo, and all these huge companies that got bailed out by regular people. They were greedy, and then they got bailed out, and then they left these small towns in the dust of remains. So that's why it's so important to me that these tools exist. And what are the tools? The tools are staking, lending, borrowing, everything that Wells Fargo does. But instead of needing tens of millions of dollars to make capital like they do, you need $10. So that is the entire point. That's why it is so good. And I didn't even mention on-chain, which you're going to be able to buy it. You're going to be able to buy it with all you need is a Google account, and you'll be able to buy it. This is my passion. It's what wakes me up. Be your own bank. Bringing power back to regular people. BYOB. Is it a good time to get into Sonic? I think so. Which broker do you use? I use BitUnex. If you want to use my link in the description, you can support my channel and get free crypto. You don't need VPN. You don't need KYC. But I have a link in my bio for BitUnex if you want to get free crypto for using my referral if you want to support the channel. Obviously, if you do so, you're going to be supporting the channel and I will earn commission/referrals, but I quietly used them for 6 months before I ever got a referral link. They reached out to me back in 2023, I believe it was, and they wanted me to do a referral, and I used them on my own without any money, and I tested them, I stress tested them the best that I could for 6+ months before I even talked about them, and I think that they are very solid. They've been around for a while too. So that's the main one I use. I use a couple others. I use Blowfin. Those are the main two that I use. But BitUnex is the main one that I use. Ski, will there be a bank on the farm? How do you buy Solnic on Coinbase Wallet? You buy Solana, you swap Solana for Solnic using the contract address. Ski, what is your medium quant prediction? $700. $700. What do you think about ETH's future CME gap 26 to 33? Yeah, look, I think 3,300 is the next. That's the next logical. That's what I've been saying for a long time. 3,300. That's where I think we're headed to. Bitcoin Dominance will fall soon. I think so. Bitcoin Dominance has made a lower low. We've made a lower low. What I want to see is a lower high and then a lower low again for confirmation. To me, this is the reverse of accumulation. Accumulation is the bottom. Distribution is the top. Buying climax, up thrust goes higher than the buying climax. That is textbook. UTAD goes higher than the up thrust. That is textbook. Let me show you. Distribution. Buying climax, up thrust goes higher than the buying climax. UTAD goes higher than the up thrust. And then you start to get a downtrend. We've already made this first dive, in my opinion. What I want to see is a lower high and then a lower low for confirmation that phase C is in. That's what I want to see. In my opinion, we've gotten that first dive. I want to see a lower high and I want to see a lower low. That would be confirmation. We're somewhere in here, in my opinion. Ski, what are your thoughts on selling May go away? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That is the saying in the stock market, right? That is not my investment philosophy. To me, selling based on what month it is no different than dating someone based on their astrology sign. If you're into that, you're into that. I'm not judging you, but that's not what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be making my investment thesis based off of what month it is. Okay. I'm going to be making my investment thesis just how I do everything, which is how undervalued is something, how overvalued is something. Where is the balance? That's it. Why are you so confident on Solnic? I'm so confident on Solnic because I believe in the community. I believe in what we're trying to do. I believe in myself. I don't think that there's a more consistent crypto content creator in this space. I've been making 5+ videos every single day for the past 3 years. I don't think anyone has the same type of gas that I have. I don't think anyone has the same type of drive that I have. I don't think anyone has the same type of passion that I have. Second to none. Does that mean I'm the GOAT? You decide. But no one's going to outwork me. Period. No one will outwork me. So you created Solnic. I did not create Solnic. Solnic is a CTO led by me. All right, here's the full story. Here is the full story of Solnic. The full story is, in the bear market, I called the bottom on the day. Video evidence documented when Bitcoin was at 16,500. I called the bottom on the day with video evidence. And I said I would shave my head if we went lower. And every local bottom along the way, I called it as a bottom with video evidence documented. Okay? Why does this have to do with Solnick? Because I made 1,000 videos in the bear market, and I made tens of thousands of people, tens of thousands of dollars. They took the action, but I gave them the confidence and the spring and the shove to do so, to teaching. And then along the way, I just mentioned, like, hey, I have this thing, Solnick. And it went from, it shot off in one day because I had more goodwill than I realized that I had. And I had to take a step back and be like, okay, people have real money involved in this at this point. This is not a joke. This is not a game. And I refuse to put myself in the category of these other creators who make money off their audience. And, you know, just do this and just make different coin after different coin after different coin. I'm not doing it. And so what I decided to do from that moment was take it seriously and treat it like a full-time job. And I decided from that moment that I was going to build, and here's the entire yearly chart. Let me show you when I took over was over here. This is when I took over Solnick. We've had multiple waves higher. We've had every bottom has more than doubled the last bottom. Okay. And from that moment, I decided I am going to make this as awesome as I can. I'm going to create as many real products to serve as many real people as I humanly possibly can. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to wake up every day. I'm going to grind my face off. I'm going to make as many good products as I can. I'm going to bring as much value to as many real people as I can, to serve as many people as I can, and do this for as long as I can. And so this is what we've done in a year. We've accomplished crazy amounts of feats. When you compare us to other influencer coins, like, we're not even a meme coin anymore. We're a DeFi ecosystem coin at this point. And this is what I've accomplished in a year. Give me 11 years and let me see what I can cook up. So that's the full story. But now we're shooting a documentary. Now we have DeFi products such as staking, lending, borrowing, liquidity mining, BYOB, be your own bank. That's what's important to me, because I grew up in extreme poverty. I grew up with a mother who struggled with substance abuse issues because of the 2008 financial crisis, because Big Pharma was passing out painkillers like they were candy. You got a toothache? Here you go. Now you're addicted to pharmaceutical H. Because of where the big banks left my hometown, this is what is passionate for me. This is why it's important to me. So there you go. That's the full story. You think Crow reaches 60 cents? I think that's very likely. China's, thank you for the roses, bro.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
AVAX. Now, how much Solnick to be a Solnick whale? 5 million Solnick makes you a whale. Thank you for the coral, you savage, bro. I appreciate you.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
What will Sol local top be? I'll take a look at that. My macro prediction on Solana is 420 low, 510 medium, 600 is my parabolic. What is the probabilities for AVAX? $89 is my low case, and then 300 is my parabolic case. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for this time. All right. That's going to be it for this time. I am live every single day, Monday through Saturday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. There's no live tomorrow with Alex because me and Alex were already live today. He's got something going on. But I'll be live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time to 6 p.m. I will also be live Saturday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. I'll be off Sunday and then back to it. I put out my schedule. I upload videos every single day. Whatever you like, I upload them. If you like shorts, I upload shorts. If you like 10 to 20 minute videos going over the full market, I upload those too. And if you like a longer experience of 1 to 2 hours, I do that too. I'm everything everywhere all at once. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I will never message you first. I'm not going to ask you for money. I promise you I love you. But I'm not going to message you and ask you for money. Those are scammers from Pakistan or Kakistan. It is not me. It is not me. I'm not going to message you and ask you for money. I promise. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.